Now I think we need to talk about common multiples. We already talked about multiples. For example, the multiples of 6 are all the numbers that you can, the answers to multiplication problems that involve 6. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, those are the multiples of 6. The multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 50, 6, 64, like that. And so if we're asking if 40 is a common multiple of 6 and 8, we're really just saying, is it a multiple of both? Well, we know that 48 is a multiple of 6 because 6 times 8 equals 48. And of course, it's a multiple of 8 because 8 times 6, that's the commutative property, we just really flipped our problem, is also 48. So it is a common multiple of 6 and 8. A common multiple just means it's a multiple of both numbers. And so let me give you another problem to try on your own about common multiples to see if we're understanding this. Okay, so here's your instructions. Give a common multiple of 8 and 5. Now there's more than one answer to this question. Actually, there's an infinite number of answers to this question. But I want you to just think of one. You can pause the video and write it down. A number that is a multiple of 8 that is also a multiple of 5. And then after you've written your answer down, hit play again, and let's see what I come up with. Okay, one way you could do this is you could start by listing the multiples of one of the numbers. I actually like to start with the larger number because I'll move more quickly through the numbers and I might notice a common multiple. There's no reason you have to do it that way. But the multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, and so on. And if I don't find a common multiple in there, then I can always add more. The multiples of 8 go on and on forever. Let me go ahead and list the multiples of 5. And I'm sure some of you have already spotted in my list of 8 a number you know is a multiple of 5. But we can go ahead and just list them. We can go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and then all of a sudden I realize, well, look, 40 is in both lists, and so it is a common multiple. So one common multiple is 40. And some of you may have even noticed that if you just multiply the two numbers, 8 and 5, you get 40. Of course, that's going to be a common multiple. Now, I told you there's an infinite number of answers. You could have also said 80. You could have said 120. You could have said 160. You could have said 200. You could have said 8,000 or 8 billion. I mean, there's a lot of numbers. 1,000 is actually a common multiple. I think most of you probably said 40, and 40 is my favorite answer because it's actually, we're about to do least common multiples, and it is the least common multiple. So let's look at one more common multiple problem, and I do want to come back to that word least common multiple because the lowest common multiple or the least common multiple is actually the most important, and sometimes those would be called LCMs as well. First, let's look for any common multiples we can find of 3, 4, and 9. And so for it to be a common multiple of 3 numbers, it's going to be common to all 3. Now, I told you earlier I like to start with the largest number. I recognize that 9 is actually a multiple of 3. And so, but it's not a multiple of 4. So let me keep counting by 9s. 18. Now, any multiple of 9 is going to be a multiple of 3. We know 3 times 6 is 18. But that's not a multiple of 4. The next one is 27. That's a multiple of 3 and 9, but not of 4. But then we get to 36. And here's what I noticed. 3 times 12 is 36, and 4 times 9 is 36, and 9 times 4 is 36. So 36 is a common multiple of all 3. And actually, that is also the least common multiple. When we're dealing with especially fractions, knowing the least common multiple and not just multiples in general is going to be very important. Now, I told you before that you could find common multiples by just multiplying the numbers together. You could have done 3 times 4 times 9, which is 12 times 9, which is 108. 108 is also a common multiple. I like 36, though, because it is the lowest or the least common multiple.